Good afternoon, Yuna. I'm Gina with Love This Track. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Great. Glad to have you here today. Let's just start from the beginning. For those who don't know, you grew up in Malaysia and started songwriting at an
Mhm.
early age. Tell us about that journey.
I always loved music, I grew up listening to a lot of different types of music, which was amazing, at first, like when you do that, it's for me it has always been, oh, one day I'm gonna be a singer, one day I'm gonna be a singer. It wasn't like my relationship, my connection with music, how I connect with music was never like, oh, I enjoy listening this. It was always, I'm gonna make something like this. So and then I started my musical journey, I think, when I was like 19. That was when I first started writing music. Obviously, before that, I was singing a lot, but I never used to write songs. So when I was 19, I learned how to play the guitar, and I know a little bit of the piano, and I started writing a couple of my songs, and that was when I started my music career in Malaysia, just sharing my music online, and it got picked up by the local radio. I started performing everywhere, and a couple of years after that, I got an offer to come out to Los Angeles and work with some producers, and I took it. I went for it, and now I'm here. Yeah, like
Oh,
5 years
oh,
later, 6 years later, I'm still here. So it's been amazing. It's been great. Yeah.
yes. Your first international album was released through Fader label. Tell us about that
Mhm.
transition.
Well, working with the Fader label was really exciting for me. That was my first time signing to a label. Before, I was an independent artist back home, and I was doing a lot of Malaysian music, which means just writing in the Malay language. And I had all these English songs that didn't go anywhere. So working with the Fader label, I was able to kind of like work on my English songs and, bring them over to the stateside and kind of just like work on them and release them, with the label. And it was definitely an interesting experience because I was no longer the boss, but even working with them, like it didn't feel like, oh, they were like bossy or anything like that. It's nice to have a support, like a support system who helps you become like a better artist. And they did that. They put me in the studio with Pharrell, and they released my first project and my first album, and that was literally my first time working in the studio with a producer and doing the whole thing, like writing with other writers and like just writing on my songs. And it was a lot of fun. Like it was definitely something that I felt very comfortable with. I was like, like, yeah, I belong here, kind of. Like it feels, there was a sense of belonging, like, okay, well, I belong in this industry. So yeah, it was cool.
I also want to say at this time, congratulations on your third studio album, which is titled Chapters. And this is after the successful hit with Usher, Crush. How was it working with
Mhm.
Usher?
It was really, really cool because initially I don't know, like when I first met him, I didn't think, like, it didn't cross my mind like, yeah, I'm gonna work with him. Like I feel like most artists, like the first time they meet art Usher maybe is such a huge like household name, right? Like, oh, I want to
Hmm.
work with you, blah blah blah. But to me, I felt like, oh, I didn't want to like encroach into like anybody's like space. I was very respectful, so I was just like, okay, well, this is cool. Thank you so much for liking my music. And he was kind enough to ask about, what my recent projects are, and I had none at the time until I when I first started working on my third album. That was when, like I had him in mind. Like I was writing Crush, and I
Hmm.
recorded it, and yeah, I felt like something was missing. And I went to him, and asked him like if he wanted to be on the project, and he said yes. And I sent it over, and the rest is history. Like he was super supportive, super easy to work with, really professional. Like you hear him performing the song like, you know what I mean, like with passion, like he was really into it, which made me feel like, you just get inspired when you see someone like that. Like I look up to him, for the longest time. Like I'm his fan. I've always been his fan, and to see the way he worked with me, and I've worked with a lot of people. I've done this for 10 years, right? So I've worked with a lot of people, and I just admire his like professionalism and his drive, like he's a very hardworking man, and I'm happy that I got to work with him. Yeah.
And it's such a great song. Um,
Thank
the
you.
fact that you have worked with such great artists in the industry so far, what other artists would you like to collab with?
Wow. There's a bunch of my list. I love Sia. I would love to work with her. I think she's amazing. I love Coldplay, and I don't know, maybe in the future Beyonce, I think I could definitely like work with her and maybe write a song, like I think because I'm an artist, but I think I'm mainly like a songwriter, so I'm definitely down to kind of just like write songs for other people as well, because like not I can't really like I could definitely write, but some of the songs sometimes they don't fit me.
Hmm.
They probably fit someone else better. So yeah, like you're very limited. Not to say that you can't achieve everything, but like really like you have to kind of, for me, like I have my own like circle that I just work around it, like I have my own not bubble, but my own space where I can like, you're just a human, you're just like a human being, and sometimes when you write something that it doesn't fit you as the person that you are, like it maybe it should go to Beyonce, who can carry, like who can belt it out better than you. You know what I mean?
That would
So,
be interesting. Yeah, that would
um,
be really interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Now, you also are fresh off your sold out European tour. What was that like?
It was amazing, man. Like, I've the last time I was back there was about 2 years ago, and I remember just performing, to a small crowd, which was nice. It was very, like all these shows were very intimate. I got to meet all the fans, and I didn't expect that coming back to Europe. Like obviously, before you go on tour, like you kind of find out about the ticket sales and you're just like, okay, well it's doing all right. I'm not selling these shows out like, but when I got there, all of the shows were like sold out or almost
Mhm.
sold out, like it really like it was filled with people. So it was really cool to see. Like it was pretty amazing considering I'm not from there, like I don't live
Mhm.
there or promote my music on the radio, like my songs aren't being played on the radio. Do you know what I mean? Like it's amazing to see how these people, because the world is so um technology driven now, like
Mhm.
and social media is like pretty much taking over everything, right? And people are so connected. These fans, like they just randomly found out about me through maybe like the internet or Spotify. So it's crazy. Like I feel really really happy to be able to kind of like reach out to people from Europe, considering I haven't gone back there in a while. And yeah, for example, like Rotterdam, like I've never been to Rotterdam. I had no idea people were listening to my music, and I sold out the venue. Like so,
The
500
response
packs.
is
So it was
amazing.
pretty crazy. The response was really amazing. It exceeded my expectations. So yeah.
That is great. You have a clothing line out which is titled November Culture, and it has some really
Mhm.
great pieces. What was your inspiration for starting that clothing line?
Well, November Culture is a clothing store that I run back home in Malaysia, and we carry like different brands. Definitely, like I have a a couple of my collections as well. Like one of my collections is called 14 November, and that's a different thing. And the recent one that I released was Hatta Yuna. That's brand new.
Okay.
So it's Hatta, Hatta, Yuna, Yuna. So this is my collaboration with another Malaysian designer, and we've been working together for a long time, and we wanted to come up with like a very feminine and floral collection, something really vibrant and colorful, and something that's not boring because I think in Malaysia right now the fashion industry is booming, and it'll be nice to be a part of it. So we wanted to bring something kind of like different and more daring to the table. Like we wanted to explore like, oh, what these like prints can do to the fashion industry. Let's see, what people are going to say, and it's doing really well. Like a lot of girls love our stuff. Oh yeah, I'm really excited to see where we go from there. It's only been like a month and a half maybe. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it will do internationally as well. Right now it's only in Malaysia. I haven't promoted it in the United States or anywhere else. So I hope I would have the time to do that in the future. Yeah.
We'll definitely look forward to that. Now, I read somewhere that you
Thank
now
you.
reside in L.A. How often do you get to go back
Mhm.
to Malaysia?
Oh, I get to go back maybe like every 2 months. So it's not like I'm away from home like for 2 years or something crazy like that.
Hmm.
I'm pretty close to my family and my friends, and they're all over there. My whole life was in Malaysia, and coming out here, I have a new life, but definitely like I try to come back to Malaysia, and it keeps you grounded, like it keeps you kind of like being yourself, kind of like, I don't know how to be anybody else but myself. So at times, when I feel like I'm super tired, I'm kind of jaded with work or anything like that, like I would go back to Malaysia, kind of like chill for a minute, be with
Hmm.
my family, So yeah,
No place like home.
no place
Now,
like home, exactly.
right? What future projects can we expect from you?
Sky's the limit for me. Like I'm so open to like new ideas, and I'm willing to try out new stuff, like not just
Hmm.
with fashion, not just with music, with I don't know, with film, like I've always been fascinated with the film industry as well. And considering you're in LA, like after a while you just kind of like catch that maybe like acting bug, and so and I have a lot of like actor friends and it's just so funny to like, okay, well, I'll give it a shot maybe, so maybe that, but definitely like focus on music as well, like music is has always been my number one passion. Maybe collaborating with other artists. Like for now, I'm just working on a lot of projects with different producers, different artists. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, the sky is the limit. I'm just here to make music, and it's been going really well. Like now that my name is pretty much out there, and yeah, there's I guess after a while, after you work really hard, like people kind of like recognize your talent now. So it's nice to have that, after a couple of years. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Most definitely. Well, Una, we really
Yeah.
like to thank you so much for talking with us and love this track, and we do love your music and appreciate your time with us today. Where can people find you on
Thank you.
the social media?
I go by Yuna Music on everything, on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook. So you can totally find me there. And also my website, yunamusic.com. That's all where my tour dates are. I'm gonna go on tour again. I'm gonna do a like Asian tour soon. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, definitely, it's gonna be a busy year next year. And the end. I mean, like I'm gonna be busy till the end of the year and next year. So yeah, that's how you can keep up with me, I think. Yeah.
Totally looking forward to all your work. We really appreciate it, and thank you once again for joining us today.
Thank you.